Who was Sheldon Edwards? Bro, Sheldon Edwards was just a kid. I was born in Jamaica. I never had nothing. I never had nothing, zero. Growing up in Jamaica, you come from a real environment where, you just got to make something of anything you can catch your hand on. All I had was discipline, a great mindset. Bro, it was crazy because my perception of what it is in the UK is not what I saw when I came here.
Didn't see on the movies like that.
From Jamaica, with nothing but a dream and a pair of clippers, Sheldon Edwards started with himself. London was cold, but the hustle was hot. Early mornings, long nights, all grind. From Fulham to Dortmund, his name grew with every cut. And the dream, Usain Bolt, from watching him to cutting him. He doesn't just cut hair, he tells stories. This is Sheldon Edwards, the barber behind greatness.
Hard work beats talent. So what you've done is, the ones that go home early, I'm going to stay later.
Yeah.
The ones that come on at 11, I'm going to come before you.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know how to do it. I think I've been electronically programmed like this.
Right, you're wiring.
I've been wired from growing up.
Yeah. So today, without further ado, we're going to tap into Sheldon Edwards, the owner of CUTZ and also my childhood therapist. Shelly,
Bro, all good?
my guy.
Yeah, nice to be here, bro.
It's an
Come
honor.
on,
It's an honor.
Yeah, come on, bro. It's a
honor.
pleasure.
And this is it. It's so crazy because you genuinely was the first therapist for me. And I feel like, when people hear of barbers or see barbers, they just think of the hair, but it's way deeper than that. Like you genuinely educated me. You was telling me little things, tips, even like with girls, like do this, do that, stay safe,
Yeah.
little things like
for
that.
For sure.
So I appreciate you.
Come on.
I really,
man.
really
on,
do.
man.
And I'm
Come
sure
on.
the rest of the world do. And I'm happy you're getting your accolades because the world see you as celebrity barber, but they don't know the work you've put in to be in the position
It's
you
crazy,
are in
bro.
today.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So let's get into it. Who was Shelly before CUTZ and the platform you've built today? Who was Sheldon Edwards?
Who was Sheldon Edwards? Bro, Sheldon Edwards was just a kid. I was born in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I never had nothing. I never had nothing, zero. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all I had was dream and a pair of clippers, man.
Right.
Growing up in Jamaica, you come from a real environment where, you just got to make something of anything you can catch your hand on. You know what I mean? All I had was discipline. All I had to do was add a great mindset.
Right.
I had from early know that barbering got to be my way out. A way out to become something more than just anything for myself and my family.
And your right. That's deep. So born in Jamaica, was you cutting in Jamaica?
Yes, I was cutting here in Jamaica. I'm from a third generational barber. What that means, my granddad was a barber.
Okay.
When he died, he left the shop to my dad. He didn't know to cut hair, but the barbering's always been in my family. And I literally from school days, had to go and hang around the barber shop. I was like a security guard.
Right.
Nah, they never wanted to see me, man. They wanted to kick me out the shop every day.
Right.
Because I was just there as a kid from 6, 7, 8 years old, just watching haircut by haircut, make sure that they were honest. Yeah, they were honest around my dad, like in the business, because he was doing other jobs and the barbershop was just there. But coming from the African and the Caribbean environment, that there's a lot of dishonesty.
Of course. And that comes from the hunger because it's so poverty. Yeah, the poverty.
Yeah. So I had to bailiff my dad's money back in, I had to make sure that it's coming home.
Right, that's making sure.
Yeah.
Right, I hear it. So cutting in Jamaica, and as you said, it's been in the family, it's been in the blood.
Yes.
To then coming over to the UK, like what was that like? Away from the barbering for a second, landing in the UK, Heathrow or Gatwick, Sheldon Edwards as a kid, what was that like?
What was it like landing in Gatwick? Bro, it was crazy. Because my perception of what it is in the UK is not what I saw when I came here.
Didn't see on the movies like that.
I was that kind of, in Jamaica, we got this kind of American culture.
Yes.
That whatever we see on TV, there's little sitcoms, that's what we envision of life.
Right.
The young kids, the teenagers, the big houses, the apartment, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We envision it to be that,
Right.
We're popping out a taxi and the big house is sitting in front of us. But what I was faced with was reality, bro. And when I went into the little flat that my mom was sharing with her sister, she was in the living room. Her sister, my aunt, at the bedroom with her son, and we were literally living. This is it. This is life now. And I was shocked because amazingly, she must have been a good photographer. Cause that definitely looked bigger in them photos. Like honestly, bro, that reality hit me straight away, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm a kind of person that I was brought up in the church, and I respect God and I respect what I have, you know. Humbleness has always been taught in me by my grandparents.
Yeah, you taught
and
me
this is
it.
what took me to where I am today. So humbleness, you know, slapped me in the face real quick and took me back down to reality, because I thought I was going to be the man, you know. And you know, it was pretty cold outside. I must have came here in the September of that year.
Winter,
and winter was chipping in, man. I never used to that. Standing at a bus stop that was hell.
Right.
Yeah, standing at a bus stop was hell. And I just like my mom, you know, not long after picking me up and taking me to the flat, she had to run off, you know, she had to run off to a job.
Right.
She was doing 3, 4, 5 cleaning jobs at the time. She was hustling. I never know she was hustling to take me to the UK.
Right.
That's when reality hit me, bro. And my little cousin was my aunt's son, second child, you know. We grew up together in Jamaica. He came over just a bit before me, you know. When my mom went to work, I'm like, yo, bro, let's go walk the streets.
Let's go.
You know. Fortunately, my mom was working at a Caribbean takeaway at the time, which around her cleaning jobs, which was a takeaway owned by the family. And it was close to Clapham Junction train station.
Okay.
It was on Plough Road, Clapham Junction, actually. I took my cousin and I took a little stroll down to the Winstanley estate, to the back of the station. Came up with a barber shop, Emmanuel's barber. Shout out to Emmanuel's. Gotta respect Emmanuel's.
Come on.
Underneath
the bridges.
Popped in there as a kid, you know, with my little cousin, a kid as well. And I'm like, yo, I'm a barber. It was the same day I landed, actually, bro.
Okay, straight to work.
Straight to
Whoa,
work.
Shelly, you know.
Like, nah. It's like, people must think this is a joke. This is how I started, and I never stopped since then. And they're looking at me like I'm like crazy, little kid popping in. What do you mean by you want to work? I said, can I cut my cousin? Show you. I cut my cousin, and I finished work at 1 a.m. that day. You know, it was a busy day. They gave me the job straight away. Yeah, I started working till 1 a.m. But, you know, it wasn't always that easy, because the job wasn't always coming. That day was fortunately a busy day.
Okay.
But then I started to watch the demographics of the shop, and I wasn't the favorite in the shop, and I was just a kid. So I started to watch and look how the senior barbers, how the experienced barbers, how the busy barbers operate, how the barbers operate. And I noticed that, you know what? These barbers like to come to work at 11, 12 o'clock. They'll be gone by 6. So I'll be there from 7 a.m., you know, and I'll be leaving at 1 a.m. And that's how I built my clientele base. You know, I built my clientele base on people understanding that they can rely on me, from reliability.
I love that. Wow. But Sheldon mentioned discipline. That was the first thing you mentioned. Like, all I had, we come from poverty, but what I had was discipline.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned being humble. And then the one thing that's just touched me is you, as a young boy, walking into the barber shop, you scanned all the barbers, and what you did is, because talent is great, but hard work beats talent. So what you did is, the ones that go home early, I'm gonna stay later. The ones that come at 11, I'm gonna come before you.
Yeah.
So to prove yourself, because at that point there, let's just say, like, hypothetically, you're not seen, your talents ain't seen yet. So you chose the hard work route, and then my talents will show after.
100%.
So you literally outworked people.
That's exactly how I did it.
And it's so crazy for me, because when I'm coaching people, you know, it's words are words. And, you know, some believe it, some don't. But, like, when I'm hearing real life examples of, because I literally tell people, have discipline, outwork people, and be humble. Those are literally the 3. And I haven't spoke to you beforehand.
That's ethos. That's like embedded in me from the grandparents, and I'm coming from the older generation. You know, like, everything that's in me is not this new school way of thinking by these young kids. You know, like, the way of thinking now is shocking.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything's
like it's like now. You know, it's TikToky. You know, jump up, dance,
Viral
and let it happen.
moment.
You know, like, it's a viral moment. It's like all these kids are waiting for a viral moment in life, but there's no viral moment in life. You know, it might happen 1 in a million.
Yes.
You know, but it's all about patience and hard work. That's going to get you to where you need to get to. But this is like, they need to learn this, you know, and a lot of them is learning the hard way, you know, because they think this is life.
Yeah.
Talked about discipline, you know, Ray, and it's really important, discipline, you know, because we arranged to sit down here and have this great conversation, hopefully to inspire and motivate a lot of people and gather the young generation in a positive realm.
That's right.
And, you know, I'm coming from a funeral. I've got a family funeral, and the discipline in me know that I'm supposed to be here with you.
Yes,
you know,
did,
the discipline in me know that, you know, there's going to be a break in the funeral. There's going to be a time when it's just going to be people hanging around waiting for the other part. In the Caribbean scene nowadays, you go to the church, you know, you go to the funeral ground, and, you know, you got a break in between, and then in the evening you got a little celebration.
Yes.
You know? So I took my time And my discipline taught me that, within this time, I can come and execute the situation.
Quickly, yeah.
I can come and hopefully motivate and inspire some people and get back to it.
Back to it.
But without discipline, you cannot execute that. Because without discipline, your mind will start gathering information that of comfortability, and comfortability is what kill you.
Yeah.
And then you live in denial thinking that it's okay. But it's not okay.
Now, Shelly's dropping gems. He's dropping gems. Comfortability will kill you. And no, Shelly's done, this. He's even played it down. Shelly's literally coming from a funeral. And when I say to you, he didn't let me down at any time. He came in on time. And it's more importantly, it's the integrity. When he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. If there's any time that you can not attend something, it is when there is a death. It is when there's an illness. Regardless of the funeral, because he's used his word and said to me a month ago, Ray, I'm going to be here. Shelly was here. And as you can see, he's looking dapper. He's coming from a funeral. But that's the discipline in him. But away from the discipline, it's the integrity, And I was privileged enough to know you before Instagram, know you before you was doing any celebrity barber. And you've been so consistent with the integrity, with timings. There was times that, if someone was late, but I was there, you would literally tell that person, no, I booked in Ray. Like, you was very integral. Now, I'm going to go in and use integrity to slide into the next chapter. So we've understood the beginning and we understand how you got into barbering. Now, there's loads of barbers, Shelly. There's millions, thousands, and whatnot.
No, they're multiplying by the day now.
By the day.
I think after COVID, within COVID period, barbering has really started to multiply by the dozens daily.
Right.
And I get thousands of messages every day from barbers all over the world.
Literally,
thousands.
I can imagine.
From them and the parents, thousands. It's like crazy.
I want to know, there being so many barbers, I know the answer, but I want the viewers to know the answer. Why does everyone want Sheldon? What is it that everyone wants Sheldon to cut their hair?
Why do they want me? It's definitely not because they like having bad haircuts, that's for sure. Because I might not be one of the best barbers in the world. That I think that I can create the best moment for a client in my chair.
Right.
And barbers out there might be thinking I can cut hair, I can shape hair, but within their mind, maybe that's what they think they can do.
Right.
What I think I add to clients sitting in my chair is more than just an experience with cutting hair. I am giving them something that's, when I came here just now and I told you that this is my way out. My way out means I'm going to do it like there's nothing else. I'm going to give it everything. Like I'm living it like it's my last cut.
Right.
And what that means is from every client to the chair, every client that comes to my chair, from the first client and the footballer that came to my chair that took me to the stage, I dealt with it like there was no one else.
Right.
I gave him the same passion. I gave him the same relationship. I have a relationship with my clients in the chair. What I mean by that is, if I know that I'm going to cut you, right? I heard you earlier on talking about you investigating your work and, you go and you do your research and all that.
Yeah.
I research my clients.
Right.
And if I know beforehand someone is coming, if it's a football player, I will research their likes, the music, the food they like,
in the
background,
wow.
everything.
Wow.
And if they're so lucky to be like from a Ghana background or a Spanish or French where I can play around with the language a bit,
right.
I'll be rolling up. They'll be rolling up like Ghana, and I'll be like, "It's saying, whoa, you're from Ghana?" I'm like, "No, I'm not from Ghana."
Right, I'm
relatable. From
relatable.
Spanish, como es that? Like, seriously. But what I do is, I tend to kind of let them understand from the beginning that I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm a part of you. Your music is my music.
It's our music.
How you see things, that's how I want to see things. I'll go back into digging out the last 6 months to 1 year of their haircuts.
Yeah.
And when they're in the chair, I'm telling them how they like it. I don't wait for them to tell me how they like it. I'm saying, this is how you've done this. Is there anything you'd like to change? And they'll be like, oh, no, this is how I like it.
Yeah.
So it's important that you kind of get people to know that you understand them from the beginning, and humbly stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Allow them to enjoy that moment in their space.
Right.
Like I've traveled the world, I've great relationships with many people.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see Sheldon come here and sit beside someone who's less fortunate than me to act like I'm more fortunate than them.
Yeah, never. I've never seen
you ain't
do
going to
that.
see that.
No, it's true.
No, you're never going to see that. You know what I mean? And I think if you're at that point in your career and you think that you have to do that, that's when you start Michael Jackson moonwalking. You start slipping away from the objective.
Yeah.
And innovation is cool. But innovation is cool when you're innovating your talent.
Yes.
And keeping people tightly glued and drawn along through your journey. And that's what I've been lucky to do, draw people along my journey.
Right, right. And which no, you've done that very well. You know,
Mhm.
cultivating it, it's inspiring to see. What's been the hardest struggle for you in the prime of your career? So not at Emmanuel's, not when you was younger, like when you was Sheldon and you was established and you had the client base. We used to see the glitz and glamour, but what was you going through behind the scenes that you know that we don't get to see? The biggest struggle, was it family? Was it your faith? Was it your relationship? Was it the staff?
What's my biggest struggles
Mhm.
amid this fame? You stick on quite a few of them. A lot of people see the glitz and the glamour,
Yes, they do.
but a lot of people don't see the stress. They don't see the hard work. They don't see the everything that you're putting into the journey. They don't see that lonely nights that you get, that you making sure that you have to make something happen.
Wow.
You know, the pressure, and it's a big P, capital P. It's the pressure that comes with it.
Right.
Because you got the pressure of the world on you now. You got the pressure of the young kids out there looking up to you as Mr. HD, the guy who's cutting this. I want to be like you. You know, you got the family that needs your time. You know, you also need to make time for yourself. You need to make time to take care of your own your mental well-being, yourself. You know, that you put aside for people.
Do you have time?
We try to make the time, and maybe I'm not the best of managing that kind of time space at the moment.
Right.
But these are the things that people don't see. People don't see all that kind of pressure that come with it because they see the glitter and the glamour and all that kind of stuff, and that's what they see. But what they never saw coming up to this journey, and I'll take you back to the before the fame, is when the young Sheldon now, they will see you on social media, doing the collaborations with the Qatar Airways, the FIFA staff ambassador for the World Cup, doing series with FIFA, Nike, Skechers, Adidas, you name it, Christian Dior, doing
big
all,
things.
and,
big things.
Doing some of the biggest football players in the world. Tomorrow, I'm going to Madrid. I'm doing the Real Madrid players. They play Champions League against Manchester City.
Second leg.
I'll be doing the Manchester City players in Madrid, and I'll be doing the Real Madrid players in Madrid. People don't see these kind of. That's all they see. I should say. That's all they see.
That's all.
But what they don't see is they didn't see that before this. You're watching my social media now. You get tired seeing my social media because it makes you mentally tired. Whoa, is he? You don't sleep. Oh, wow. But some people think now that you're doing superstars and all these kind of world famous people. This is why you're doing it. But rewind back to the days in Jamaica. I used to get up at 4 a.m. to go carry water.
Yes.
Yeah, if I don't carry water at 4 a.m., there's no drinking water.
Yeah.
If I don't get up and carry water at 4 or 5 a.m. in Jamaica, there's no bathing water. There's no water to cook. When that door goes like that and knock in the morning and the neighbor says water is at the pipe,
you need it.
you could be in the sweetest sleep. You could be in the deepest dream. When you hear that, you are up,
go, right.
And you have to go walk like 2 miles, 3 miles to carry drinking water, So people see me now waking up and be traveling to like Manchester at 6, 5, 4 in the morning, coming back at 2 a.m., back up at 5, and like, bro, what are you doing? How do you do it? Honestly, I don't even know how to do it. I think I've been electronically programmed like this.
Right, you're wiring.
I've been wired from growing up.
Yeah.
And it's the roots. And I would love some of the kids out there watching if they could get the chance to go get that root. Because I think the root have been cut off. There's no roots out at the moment, bro.
Deep.
People are lost.
Deep.
A lot of kids are lost.
So, on that note, like a lot of kids being lost and finding their passions, I'm from a generation where everyone said, go be a doctor, a lawyer, those type of jobs. What you've done now is you've normalized about, like, let's be honest, Sheldon. When we were growing up, our generation, if you told your parent, I want to be a footballer, a barber, an actor, they're gonna naturally brush it off.
No. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, this is it.
That's it.
This is it. You have to get to work in the city. You have to get a big worker to wear a suit.
Tie,
you have to wear a suit and tie. Well, I'm a barber in a suit and tie. That's because I'm coming from a funeral. But I do kind of scrub up just for the occasion. We do know how to scrub up. We know how to scrub up. We can make it happen. We can make it happen.
Right.
And we're coming from that generation. But these kids, they need to know that amidst of all that's happening around you in your environment, you can become what you want to become.
Yes.
I wanted to be a doctor. Maybe I'm a doctor of airlines at the moment. I don't know. People call me HD. I'm saving lives.
Yeah, saving lives.
I hear it all. It goes over my head, right? I'm like, okay, I'm just doing what I need to do. People are saying that to me. But, like, I've had clients when I was on the come up, before the HD cuts, when I'm branding everything, coming and around the shop. And they, obviously not HD cuts guys, but they will spit at you. They spit at your face. Shut up! You're nothing but a little barber. Who are you? Who do you think you are? You know, and I'm proud today that you know I'm one of the ones out there, along with lots of great names in the barbering in the UK,
so many now,
America, everywhere in the industry that's carrying this culture of barbering. That we are proud.
Yeah.
We are proud. Them same people's kids want to be barbers now.
Yeah, they do.
The same people that was spitting after you in the barbershop, their kids want to be barbers. They're like, hey, can I do academy with HD? Can I? And they're proud. They're running up to you, telling you, can you take a picture for their friend? Can you get the autograph from this player? Can you like? And you're just sitting there thinking, quite a few years ago, it was like you're nothing. You know, parents are coming up to you that they want you to help to educate their kids.
Yeah, that's deep.
And it's a proud moment for me because
course.
you know, if I can draw a nation like that, the world, the globe, to start to believe, I think I'm living in my purpose.
Deep. No, it's very deep because, as you know, I'm massive on purpose. And for Sheldon to literally pick up a trade and now turn it into what kids inspire, like you've added barbering to the doctor, the lawyer. Like parents are telling their child, why don't you go and be a barber? I've heard it. When I'm within the schools with Step Now, and because when we go to schools in the assembly, we say, oh, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? And people are saying, I want to be a barber. And in the back of my head, I'm just like, wow, shit, Sheldon has really normalized barbering. And I want you to literally give me a gem in terms of not just me, to everyone that's listening. What keeps you going every single day, apart from the Jamaica stuff, because I know that was your wiring. Now, because Jamaica was years ago, what keeps Sheldon HD going till this day now? What still motivates you now?
What motivates me to today?
Yeah.
Honestly, bro, it's a sense of purpose. And it's a sense of knowing that, you know, a lot of people are depending on me. A lot of people are looking at me out there as an inspiration and as a motivation. I got people that pass the shop and they come to the shop even if they don't have work day, just to come in and say, hello, I needed to come and see you today so I can carry on my day. I know that my purpose is bigger than my barbering journey. You know, my purpose is bigger than the clippers in my hand. And when I understood this, I know that I got to keep going. I got to keep going for them. I got to keep going for the people that need somebody to help to uplift them, you know? And I'm about this journey. My barbering is about just a clipper in mind. My barbering and what I'm coming with. HD CUTZ is a legacy, and it's a legacy that I'm putting and printing onto people. And it's a legacy that when people see it, they know straight away that with hard work, with dedication.
I love that.
With the mindset, with the focus, with the coming up against all odds, I'm able to do this like this man. Because if we do it, coming from a deprived, poor background in Jamaica, when nothing wasn't there.
Yeah. You couldn't even
I used to make my
this.
toys. I see kids running up now telling you need to buy a PlayStation for Christmas. I need to buy this. I need to buy that.
The list.
But I had to make my toys.
Yeah,
from
whatever
juice
it is.
boxes, from juice cartons. You know, that's how I grew up in Jamaica. You know, I had to play outside. That's my playground. And if I can do it, Mr. HD, then they can do it too.
No, I love that.
And that's what I want them to know.
Now, I want to know, take me back to that first experience of your first footballer, and how did you network with him and connect with him for it to then expand? What was that like?
My first footballer, I got to big him up anyway, man. Musa Dembele.
Come on.
Yeah,
Blessings.
that's my guy.
Right.
You know, he was playing at
The one at Fulham, right? Yes.
Yeah, and then he went to Tottenham, and then he went to China.
Yes.
No, Musa became my brother.
Okay.
And when Musa walked into the chair, you know, I'm a person that, you know, I think I've got so I'll call it a problem, but you might call it a gift. Because when I see somebody, all I can see is the head. I can see the hair. I'm like, I've already done a 360, 3D vision I've scanned them.
Right.
Yeah, I've scanned it. I've scanned the hairline, I've scanned the beard, I've scanned the moustache, I've scanned the head. I'm like, why is this, that usually? So when he sat in my chair, and I gave him my consultation. And consultation is very important, guys. And what consultation do is help you to draw you closer to the client.
Right.
Young barbers, make sure you're doing your consultation. Yeah. And I spoke to Musa and I said, bro, I can see you having this, that. And you're like, your beard is this. He said, wow, how did he know this? This is what I want.
Right.
You know? And through that consultation and that, me after executing that haircut for him, he invited me to his house to meet the family, to do a haircut for him on the next occasion in his house.
Okay.
The wife prepared dinner, and I became family. You know? And with that become family, I took a picture of his haircut, and that's when I started to brand myself HD. Because that picture, I started to show off on the clients. I started to print that haircut on flyers and
Right.
leaflets and a business
Marketing.
card, and I started to market myself because I thought that it was a great picture.
Right.
You know, it was what people would call now a Bellingham fade. And if you talk about Jude Bellingham fade,
Yeah.
you can go scroll all the way back down to my Instagram, long before Jude Bellingham went to Real
Yeah,
Madrid.
he's a kid. Wait,
Yeah,
yeah.
way before Jude Bellingham went to Real Madrid, from the Dortmund days. You can go and you can see the post saying, make sure you never forget and call this one the Bellingham cut.
Okay, so
when
you
I'm doing
started the
takeoff.
trend.
So when you see people talking about Bellingham cut at more, I'm not going to stand in the and like I'm trying to claim no accolades or no Oscar or no Grammy for
Right,
this.
but it's there.
You know, but it's there in the imprint. I said it, and it's long before all those transition periods. So what I'm trying to say to you is, bro, you got to see, and you got to do, and you got to create something like a legacy. I'm creating legacy for them barbers.
No, you
But
are.
whoever is out there and gaining from whatever I've created and whatever steps that we have made in the right direction, brands are calling you. Brands are calling you. Brands are calling you. You know, people want to collaborate with you.
Yeah.
People want to get you on their shows and everything. You know, footballers want to get you into their camp because they've seen the blueprint that we have actually started and create. Where HD Cuts have helped to create. Where other barbers in the UK have helped to create. And there's quite a few of us. And it's good that we understand the journey now and we are keeping it tight and just making sure that we execute it well.
No, I see it, and I see like you're always showing love to the rest of the barbers. Like you're not one of those ones where you don't see them as competition. You're always showing love.
Let's just clear up this competition because I've been asked this competition thing all the time, right?
Okay.
And my only competition is me. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying the barber out there is not a barber that's as talented or maybe if not more talented or whatever he's doing. But if I'm supposed to put my mind and tunnel my mind on someone else's, what they're doing, their lane, their journey, I blocked everything that's going to become of me.
Right.
You know?
This is
So
deep.
I focus on my lane. I focus on what I can do, my transition, and how I can add value to myself. And if I can add value to myself and what I'm doing, and it helps other people, that's what I'm doing. But my only competition is myself. I don't watch, you know. I only watch stuff, to be honest, that gives me a positive mindset and helps me positively execute and innovate within myself. So if it's not innovating me and executing in a positive realm or in my lane, I don't even take it on board. I'm not like others, bro, you know? Like, I'm coming from the ages of the grandparents' ages, you know? And my granddad said, respect.
Yes.
Respect.
You do. I see it.
Respect is better than pocket money.
Wow.
And respect goes a long way. And that's me. You know, I show respect, you know? And no matter if you're Mr. Big Man or Mr. Small Man, I don't matter if you're the high-profile clients or you're just the normal client that comes to my chair.
Same level.
The clients that experience me can tell for yourself. You know, they can be the one that can leave the reviews. They will tell you.
Yeah.
You know, I can just come off the plane from Madrid. You know, I could be with my friend Rudiger. We became a family. The Rudiger is my
That's
family.
your guy. Yeah,
That's my family.
Your brother, man.
You know, and I can come off the plane and after cutting a Rudiger, but I can be in the shop at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. cutting a lady or a guy who's going to tell me, can you cut me and my 2 kids? And can I pay you in the next 2-3 weeks?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm dishing out free haircuts, guys. What I'm trying to say to you is the people that's helped me along this journey, I don't forget the journey.
Right.
I am still available to give people a part of the experience that brought me to this journey. And I've kept myself close to the community. And that's why the community in Clapham Junction, they respect the hustle and what I'm doing to the community.
No, I love that. I love that. Can I ask, you were exposed to a lot of things that the normal person wouldn't be exposed to.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself so grounded? Because the reality is we've all got heroes. We all watch football. We all whatever. Like when you're around these big stars, like Rudiger, that's your boy. And I personally know that's your guy. How do you keep that level of humility when you're around? Because you've got everybody. Let's be honest.
How do I keep that humility? Let's just say it's a bit cliche, but real knows real, bro. When you're around people that's real, they recognize real. And what I mean by that is, for example, you mentioned my boy, my family, Rudiger. You know, the conversations that we had, you know, we have similarities, we have characteristics, we have experiences that we have both lived together. You know, I'm coming up from Jamaica where I slept in a bed with 5 of us. You know, it was toes up, head down.
Yeah.
You got to know. You don't know what I'm talking about, you young guys. But you know about toes up.
Head
bro.
to toes and that.
Head to toes, bro. There was 5 of us. You got to make it comfortable. Nobody's turning in their sleep. You got to sleep in one position. I'm coming from those days. And now I'm in the situation where, you know, I can be dining at tables with the elites, the Ballon d'Ors, you know, the big movie stars of Hollywood. you know, the big Qatar Airways, who I'm doing great stuff with, you know, and it doesn't make any difference or add value to me.
Yeah.
It just makes me know that I deserve to be at this table.
Right.
Because I saw where I was and I decided I got up. I got up off that bed
Yeah.
and I said, this bed is giving me a lot of belief to know that this is not where I would like to be.
Yeah.
It's not where you started, guys. It's not where you started. It's about where you want to be.
Wow.
And I never wanted to stay sleeping like that.
Wow. No.
I made my mind up
this
that
is
I am
deep.
going to find a better situation, not only for me, but for my family.
Yeah, and your community representation. Do you know how many people? Let's show that I'm black. Let's call it as it is. Looking at a black man doing what you're doing is so inspirational. Reason being, growing up, we only see footballers or rappers that are doing well. But now we're seeing barbers. And when I see Sheldon, regardless that I know him, I smile because it's like, you give me the faith that we can all do it.
Thank you for your kind words, but until you start to put those kind of descriptive words into it, I don't ever think about it, bro. And that's the problem with me. I'm always thinking about the next step. So, you know, my shop, I've just newly refurbed it.
Yeah.
You know, I've created some greater opportunities for my
The
staff.
academy as
But
well.
with the academy and what we're doing. But until somebody comes and says, well done on what I'm doing, I've already gone to the next stage.
next thing.
I'm on the next thing. You know, I don't sit there in the moment and adore, because maybe where people see that I am and think that's great, that's not where I want to be.
I get you.
I'm trying to create a legacy, legendary. And I know that within me, you know, legendary status, I'm not trying to go on like I'm the nomads of the, you know, the mummies of the barbering world.
Right.
But I'm trying to be the innovative part of the barbering world, to let barbers believe,
Yes.
to take them along the journey,
Yes.
to let people respect you. Nobody can spit at you. You know, I got
from
spit
what
at.
happened. Yes, you don't want
I
that to
got
happen to
spit at,
someone
but
else.
I blocked the spits from coming to you.
Yes.
Now the respect come to you.
Right,
You know,
right.
and that's what I add to the barbering game.
Dope.
You know, and it's all about listening to the orders, watching what the orders are doing, learning and innovating. You know, and sadly in the barbering game this moment, there's barbers that want to watch 1-2 videos in 1 month and then claim to be a barber.
Yeah.
They don't understand the journey.
Instant gratification.
They don't understand it. They don't understand the trip. And you put 20 odd years into it. You put 20 odd years maybe in your podcast, and somebody now in 1 month acclaimedly
Yeah.
want to be where you're at.
Yeah, yeah.
How?
It doesn't work like that. Yeah.
Scientifically, how do you work that out? Because it's only one person in a million that's going to get the opportunity.
Facts.
And that's where, you know, it affects their mental state. You know, I know you do a lot of mental coaching.
Right.
And that's when the mental side comes into the younger people, because it's not going to work the way they perceive it in their mind.
Yes.
And they're going to spend a lot of time critiquing and watching what the others are doing. And social media make a lot of noise,
Yeah.
a lot of negative comments.
Yeah.
But I'm so focused on the journey, my journey, the legacy I'm trying to create.
Yeah.
You know, my legacy and my brand was built on the work I've created. And that's what I focus on.
No, that's deep. That's deep. It's so deep. Like the amount of gems from this, I feel like I'm in a. But this is, I did say it from the beginning, he's actually my therapist from young. And being with him now, you know, we're adults now, it's the same Sheldon. You know, from when I was young, he used to coach me and he was my mentor or my therapist. As you're listening to him now, like the amount of gems he's pushing to the young people and even adults. But I want to go on to, I'm going to wrap this show up now, because I do know you showed me respect by coming, you know, go to the second part of the funeral. But I do want to know about this legacy. And I want the world to know, like, what's HD looking like in the next 10 years?
What's HD looking like in the next 10 years?
What's your projects? What are you doing for the next generation? I really want to know.
The next generation. I've just recently launched the HD CUTZ Academy. I've got 1 or 2 guys that's passed within our academy as well. My academy, I don't want it to be just teaching about barbering. My academy is trying to teach people about life, the mental part about life, the mental part about the journey.
Right.
You know, having one-to-one conversations with them, join them, letting them understand that, you know, it's not where they are at the moment. You know, they can start whatever they want to be in life. Accept where they are. Make something of their position and situation in life. Do not try to wait for the perfect moment. Unfortunately, with all the social media and everything, it creates a narrative that the perfect moment is going to come. Wait for the perfect moment. But you have to create your perfect moment. You have to create your own luck. All this stuff I'm doing, this Qatar Airways, this going to the World Cup, I created my own moment.
Yeah, no handouts.
Nobody saw me when I was sleeping in the airport for a couple hours because there was no flight. Nobody summoned me. But when I arrived at the locations, everybody wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Nobody saw when you're like out there running from shop to shop because nobody understand your visions, your journey.
Yeah.
Nobody understood when you're trying to brand yourself. And nobody, from workplace to workplace, they're kicking you in your bum left and right, and you have to go find somewhere to work.
Yeah.
Nobody
Deep.
saw you when you're working from hotel rooms to hotel rooms, not making no money
Deep.
because you are trying
To build the brand.
to build your clientele
Yes,
base. You're just
yes.
trying to make people happy. You wake up off your bed in the morning and you can't even tell your girlfriend or your wife, I'm doing this. I'm not coming back with the money, but I did make money, but it's going back to the fees. I'm just trying to make it happen. Nobody understand the journey when you're just there sitting and you're lifeless, you're sleepless, and you're trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Nobody. I'll be lying to you if I tell you that sometimes it does not affect me.
Yeah.
I'll be lying to you because it might affect you just watching me and what I'm doing because you're thinking, this guy is crazy. But what keeps me going, is if I can gather 1 or 2 or 3 of these guys out there, a couple hundred of them, to understand that if HD CUTZ can do it, I can do it. If I can draw them with me, it's like the magnet.
Yeah.
That's my motivation.
Wow.
My motivation is bigger than just me. It's bigger than just the clippers. It's bigger than just cutting one haircut. It's bigger than just one haircut.
Purpose.
But I'm here to tell them with one haircut at a time, it can become 100 haircuts.
Yes.
It can become more than you ever imagined. But time, patience, perseverance, hard work, innovation is all you need. We all know the Usain Bolts of the world. That's my guy. That's my friend. And I want these young kids to know that, right? You got to talk things into existence. You got to talk it.
Chat to us.
Because I'm watching Olympics on television in my shop. Yeah, it was not HD CUTZ. I didn't have a shop. And I said, I'm going to cut this guy one day. I'm going to cut him one day. Yeah. One of my friends gave me the nudge. He's going to be in a nightclub. I went to the nightclub. I had my business card in my hand. I just started branding HD. I got a beautiful picture of Musa Dembele on there because I'm hoping that I can tell him that this airline can be his airline soon.
Right.
And it was on a business card. I rolled up to the nightclub, and as a Jamaican, I spoke to him. It was great conversation, quickly, 1 minute. In the night,
Hustling.
when it got busy, I'm there like a little fan. I was like a fangirl. I had about 200 followers on Instagram at that time, and I'm just there thinking, wow, that's my guy. He's my countryman. If I can get a picture
That's
with
all I
Usain Bolt and give him my business card, my life will change. If I can get a picture with him, my family in Jamaica would have had some kind of satisfaction to believe that I'm doing this for them. The security put me off, man. Nothing happened that night. I never gave up.
Right.
I never gave up. 2 years later, my phone rang while I was with a client in
When
Germany.
It's God's time,
Yeah, Usain Bolt team called me. He just lost a race in London. He's in London in Olympic Stadium, and he's doing another race, and he's doing some awards. It couldn't happen because there was no flight to arrive at that time. My flight was booked to come back later.
Okay.
It was the middle of the night. At this time, I was more than close friends. It was like Leon Bailey was my brother.
Okay.
I was in his
Aston
house.
Villa. Yes.
He was
Okay.
in Germany, and I was in his house, and it was his birthday party.
Okay.
And I saw one flight, and it was at 5 a.m. And this time it was 3 a.m. when the call came. I brushed my teeth and I went to the airport, and I made it happen.
Make it happen.
When I dropped my suitcase there, it's about preparation. These young kids got to prepare. Some people are missing out opportunities because they lack preparation.
Wow.
They got to prepare. When I dropped my suitcase right there, I had everything that he ever desired in himself. He's never used to grooming. I introduced him to grooming.
Right.
I said, this is what I think. Him and his girlfriend was amazed. As a countryman, as Jamaican, he could not believe that I came and I presented myself like that. Presentation is key.
Yeah.
If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. And that's a cliche saying that it might come across as a cliche, but realistically, coming from where I'm coming from, with my granddad and my grandma giving me them gems, I just feel like I'm living in the gems. I feel like I'm gemming through life right now because I'm living what my grandparents taught me in that, And Usain Bolt became one of my biggest clients.
Yeah.
Every day I was on his Instagram live when I went to Australia for 2 weeks with him when he was playing football, and through Usain Bolt, I developed a lot of great relationships, and people started to believe in me and the brand also. And this is how it started. You got to believe in yourself, bro. You got to believe that, where people might perceive that you are at the moment is not where you want to be for yourself.
I get you.
And it's only true, maybe you got to fake it till you make it. It's another saying that's a cliche, but you got to fake it till you make it. You got to believe. Fast forward back all to the Snapchat from 2014, 15. I used to be on it every day.
Yeah.
And I used to tell people I'm a global barber.
Yes.
The furthest I've been was on a bus from Clapham Junction to Peckham.
But you spoke it.
The first day when the phone call came, when Musa Dembele told me that Raja Nangalan wanted me to cut his hair in the Euros in 2016 in Bordeaux in France. I couldn't believe I got the phone call. I looked at the message, thought he was going to disappear. He said to me, he wants to color his hair. Can you do color? I said, yes.
You found a way.
I've never colored a hair before.
Right.
I've never colored a hair before. I went to one of my colleagues and I said, I need to learn to color hair in 3 days' time. I went to the house
3 days.
and I watched YouTube all the way through. I bought the right products, and until the morning of travel, I was in the house until 3, 4, 5 a.m.
Studying.
When I went to Bordeaux in France and I met Nangalan, he wanted to be the last. He became one of my brothers, Raja.
Come on.
It's all love, bro. You know what we did.
Come on.
Yeah? And Musa Dembele got his cut. All the Belgium team got their cut. I'm in Bordeaux now. I'm a celebrity barber.
Come on.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm
what
there
you said,
repping.
what you
I'm
said.
there repping.
I'm the
you know?
global
I went and I
barber.
bought some Belgium shirts, put HD cuts on the back. I started to think, let me just get some branding in straight away. When I finished Nangalan, he took me to Rome. 5 years consecutively, every week.
Roma.
After that color in his ear, he was like, I love my ear. My first time I ever done color.
Right.
That's where I met Rudiger. That's where he became family in Rome.
Oh, yes, he was at Roma.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's where I met
yes.
Rudiger. Raja Nangalan.
Just linking.
brought-
But then Dembele, so it's just linking because Dembele, Belgium, Nangaland, Rudiger, and then you just kept on growing. But because you're leaving with people, how you make them feel.
The power of networking. You spoke about it earlier. The power of networking, you know, and you can network without even consciously networking.
Yeah.
It's about leaving a part of you that's added value to someone. I left a part of me with Musa Dembele that's added value to him that he can also introduce me to the clients.
Yeah.
I said to Musa one day, bro, thank you for what you did for me. He said to me, Sheldon, don't ever let nobody tell you that they did anything for you. I knew that you can do a job.
You done it. Yeah.
I just said to my friend, he can cut hair. Before you, there many barbers that came into the training ground.
Yeah, of course.
Many barbers have come and cut the same players. They never left a part of you with them. You done what you did, bro.
Yeah.
Be proud of yourself. And I'm not surprised that you're going to be one of the biggest barbers in the world. That you're going to also help to motivate people.
Right.
Today he smiled when I posted on Instagram.
Yeah.
He messaged me and said,
Says,
Sheldon, I told you.
Mm.
You know? But it's for the young guys out there. You got to know that. You got to believe in yourself. You got to leave yourself on a positive journey.
Yeah.
All this trying to jump and just for the gram or just for the likes. Or it's not about that.
Yeah, nah.
It's about making sure that your craft, you know, you perfect your craft first.
Before all of that stuff.
And let your craft
Do the talking.
do the talking. Because they all come in and they think there's a secret. I wish somebody told me what the secret was, because they're coming to me and tell me, I want to be a celebrity barber. How did you do it? I want to do it. I did not set out to be a celebrity barber.
Yeah, it wasn't your plan.
And people are telling me today I'm a celebrity barber. I just think I'm a barber that does great haircuts, and I've got a lot of high-profile people of high net worth.
You've worded it different.
Yeah?
Completely. Yeah.
Because I don't want to be on a narrative of a celebrity barber, because I don't want to draw that narrative from the youngsters out there that's trying to elevate themselves, that this is the part that you have to take. The part that I would love them to take is make sure that you cultivate your craft, you innovate your craft, and you aim to be the best that you can be. And that's where the secret is, bro.
Wow. Shelly, I'm blown. No, honestly, I'm lost for words, and I'm never lost for words. Shelly, where can people find you? I'm sure people might be inspired. They might want to connect with you, brands, businesses, young people.
And you know what? Just to clear it up, where can you find me? They think they can't get a haircut from me. Don't let them tell you that. I might be one of the only guys that they call a celebrity barber, but I'm just a talented guy with high-profile clients. You can find me at 103A Lavender Hill, Clapham Junction. It's HD CUTZ Barbers and Academy. We got a great team of guys.
Yes.
We do it all, man, from locks to braids to European hairstyles, from everything. Check out the socials, man. HD CUTZ, man. You see everybody popping on there. I tag my team all the time. I'm not trying to draw myself along. I'm drawing my team along.
Come on.
They're a part of me, and that's what we represent.
What's the socials?
HD CUTZ.
Oh, everything.
Tap it in. Everything coming up straight away.
Amazing. Shelly, I just want to say thank you so much.
It's a pleasure,
honestly.
bro.
You know, big bro, you've been my therapist. It's a lot of the things I'm doing now. Obviously, I coach. I could honestly say you owe a good percentage of that, because you was my first official therapist. You know, and you don't realize what you're doing. Every person that sits on that chair, just cut my hair when I was 12. And the gems you were giving me, maybe from your granddad and your dad. Now I know the real gems.
Yeah.
But those gems sat with me till this day. So I'm genuinely honored to have you on here, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
inspiring everyone.
No, it's
that's
a
gonna be
pleasure, man.
watching.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure, bro, man.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. Yeah.
Love all the time,
Nice one,
Shelly.
bro.
All right, it's a wrap. I've just had the amazing Shelly on here, Sheldon Edwards, founder of CUTZ. It's more than just the cuts, as we spoke about here. It's the integrity, it's the discipline, it's the hard work, it's the perseverance. But most importantly, it's not the instant glorification. What we see today on Sheldon, or anyone that we see, is 10 years, sometimes even 20 years of hard work. So I humbly, from this episode, from what I've taken from it, I humbly say to you guys, please master your craft before the likes, before the views, before all of that. Focus on your craft, but most importantly, focus on your purpose. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Behind the scenes.
Thank you, guys.
Love.